This is 5 on your side at 4. Focused on you.
All right, let's take a live look downtown at 4. We begin in weather alert. And the Gateway Arch heavily clouded as overcast skies loom. After overnight storms, more rain is headed to the bi-state. The National Weather Service says some parts of southern Missouri got up to 3 inches of rain. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Kate Quinn.
And I'm Holden Kerwicki in tonight for Brent Solomon. The heavy rain continued overnight into today, and we're going to give you a live look at the road conditions as rain starts to pick back up again tonight. We want to take you out live now to our Weather First Storm Tracker from 270 out in South County. And the roads are a little crowded out there. You can see some people passing trying to get home, but the good news is it's a light rain, that there are no major problems at the moment. And we'll be checking back in on our road conditions all night, especially as some heavier rain moves in. Let's now head over to meteorologist Jim Castillo as he is tracking this weather pattern in your Weather First forecast.
Yeah, hi Holden and hi everybody. So that rain, boy, we have a saturated ground. Any rain that we do get, which right now is light around the metro, but this will add to what's happening with our creeks, rivers, and streams. They're running very high, and a lot of them either moderate or minor flooding expected. So this is what's going on. Low pressure just to our south and west, and a tornado watch south, and that will stay to the south. We're not expecting severe weather, but let's go ahead and zoom in here. We've got the Weather First Doppler radar, and you can see Rolla. So Phelps County, Crawford County, those golds and oranges moving back in there, and they'll bubble up close to the metro. So we're still expecting that rain throughout the night tonight, and that's why we continue in weather alert. So from Arnold southward to Farmington, it's a good solid rain. Sparta also all the way down to Marquand, that rain is falling, and mainly just some shower activity, but there, you can't really rule out a thunderstorm like we had last night also, especially to the south. Look at these totals. Cedar Hill, 2.75 inches, even in the city, 2.65, and it keeps on adding up. Much more on our forecast and the details of the weekend coming up.
Get the Weather First forecast sent straight to your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
It's been exactly 1 year since a St. Louis County middle schooler fell to his death from an amusement park ride. Today, Tyree Sampson's family honored him at the site of that ride in Orlando, Florida.
It's been an incredibly difficult year for Sampson's parents, who say they will never forget what happened.
The 8th grader slipped out of his seat while on the free fall ride at Icon Park, and now his family is doing everything they can to make sure that he's not forgotten. Our Justina Coronel has been following this case for months, and Justina, you're with us now live. How is the family holding up? You've spoken with them so many times. It's hard to believe it's been a year.
Yeah, they tell me it's been an incredibly difficult time, and in that year, there's been a lot going on, and those last 365 days. Now, just this past week, the slingshot ride officially came down. It was the world's tallest freestanding drop tower. Now, engineers determined Sampson was too big for the ride, and employees adjusted the seat restraints to double the size. Within the last week, Sampson's parents also reached an undisclosed settlement with Icon and Slingshot. The compensation would range from loss of earnings to mental pain and suffering. Now, his parents have also been pushing forward legislation, the Tyree Sampson Act. Now, the bill says seat belts would be required for any ride taller than 100 feet, and a ride's height and weight requirements must be clearly visible. His father, Yarnell Sampson, plans to testify.
I'm looking forward to going to Tallahassee to tell my side of the story and hoping they can realize that I'm a grieving parent. This is my mission. I'm not going nowhere. Justice for Tyree will always be the case.
Now, Yarnell Sampson said they're working with the operators to potentially come up with a plan to give scholarships to young men to go to college. As for mom, Nakia Dodd, she's created a foundation for her son to support school athletic programs and students.
All right, thank you, Justina. Yesterday, a woman was killed and a teenager seriously injured in a crash that happened in front of a school in the Kingston K-14 school district. Police say a woman was driving north on Missouri 21 when a 16-year-old girl pulled out in front of her. The woman, identified as Beth Rutledge, struck the side of the teen's car. She died. Police say she was not wearing a seatbelt. The teenager is being treated for serious injuries at an area hospital.
Metrolink is expanding. Today, a resolution was approved allowing for planning, designing, and developing the Metrolink line from North to South St. Louis. It's a part of the Jefferson Alignment Metrolink expansion project. Officials say this resolution will eventually allow for up to $4.6 billion in capital funds for public transit projects. The cost to build the first phase of the new Jefferson alignment expansion is estimated at $850 million.
Tonight, Dateline breaks down what happened to a world-renowned snake breeder from Missouri. In 2017, Ben Rennick was found dead inside a facility crawling with snakes. His wife claimed he'd been killed by one of his snakes. A coroner later confirmed he was shot 8 times. Find out more on this case on tonight's Dateline right here on 5 on Your Side starting at 8 p.m.
Yesterday, the Illinois House narrowly passed a bill that will allow all gender bathrooms. The bill would allow businesses, universities, and other building owners the option to designate an all-gender bathroom. Illinois already has a law in place for single occupancy bathrooms. This bill would allow for bathrooms that accommodate 2 or more people. The bathrooms are required to standards laid out in the bill, including signage and stall dividers.
President Biden addressed Canadian Parliament today as part of a jam-packed visit with our neighbors to the north. This is the president's first trip to Canada during his term. NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with the latest.
A warm welcome as President Biden makes his first visit to Canada, standing shoulder to shoulder with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and taking part in critical talks.
Americans and Canadians are 2 people, 2 countries, in my view, sharing one heart.
Our border is no longer just the place where we meet each other. It's the place where we will meet the moment.
The 2 countries share the same goal of stemming the flow of migrants crossing their borders illegally. The Biden administration touting a new joint effort to address this issue. The agreement allows each country to turn away asylum seekers who cross the northern border without authorization.
We are working in lockstep with the Canadians to try to deal with this from a regional perspective.
While illegal crossings into the U.S. from Canada have climbed to historically high levels, it's just a fraction of what's happening at the U.S.-Mexico border. Republicans blame the Biden administration for the influx there and other challenges.
That fentanyl and illegal drugs are flowing across the southern border, and they want to know why more isn't being done to stop it.
During the president's visit, the 2 leaders are tackling a variety of issues, including climate change, the war in Ukraine, and rising tensions with China. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.